And now let's talk about another beta that I did not like as much, Mirror's Edge. Double check that I didn't misspell mirror because of 7 R's. No, it didn't. Now, part of the problem I have with this beta is that they didn't really do a good job of telling you that yes, you can stream this. Yes, you can record it. You can talk about it. Okay, well, maybe next time you should put that in the email. Maybe that's the thing you should do with your time. Instead, I have to go onto Twitter and look through their little replies and find out that other people are asking this already, and they're like, yeah, sure, feel free, talk about it. This is, everyone knew that the Battleborn beta was happening, or that the Doom beta was happening, or that the Uncharted 4 beta was happening. But you have a closed beta for Mirror's Edge, a franchise now, that didn't necessarily sell super well the first time, but everyone loves, and you don't even mention, and you don't even get like this big thing about it. Like, it felt like no one was talking about this. The fact that I had to look up if I could even talk about it is ridiculous. That should be in the email. That should be all over media of like, hey, share your thoughts, do this. You fucking failed. You failed there. Someone's ass is on the line. Now let's actually talk about the game. Mirror's Edge, the first one, is good. And I liked it. And it's fine. It's got its problems. The main problems being the guns, etc., whatever. Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which is not a prequel, not a sequel, but like a retelling, I think. I don't know. I don't necessarily care. I don't remember any of the story from the first game, so it doesn't matter. Oh, and this is the only other mention I'll make of the story. I find the dialogue in this to be pretty ridiculous and stupid. There's the moment at the beginning, like, Faith was in some kind of prison for a year, I think. And she meets her father figure for the first time afterwards, which is like the leader of these runners. And they kind of hug for 5 seconds, and then they're like, okay, bye. Like, it just didn't, and even what they were saying didn't work for me. Like, it didn't make sense. Pacing wise, there's way too much talking at some points in this. Like, you go to do a mission and it's like, oh, I'm going to talk to the Birdman. And like, these are interesting conversations, I guess. But they don't, it feels very much like, okay, now you're doing this. Now watch the cutscene for this. Now, hey, do this first. Like, can't I just run around? That was what was so cool about the first one was, all right, now you're running from here. Now you're running from here. And that's the best parts of this game, of this beta. The one mission you have, this one, where you're indoors running around, is probably the best part and the most interesting. There are other moments where you have to do these kind of climbing puzzles that are okay and fine, but this is what Mirror's Edge was sneaking around and being a ninja, basically. And the game looks pretty good. People are saying that they love how it looks. I think it looks good, but it's got so many flat colors that I can't necessarily tell if it looks really good or if the colors are just stylish, which I guess makes it look good. So it looks good. But it has this guide. This free running guide is what they call it, I think. It has this guide, and it's this little weird ghost, red ghost that follows around, and it turns certain things in the environment red, so you know you can jump on them, and that's where you're supposed to go. And I like that. I don't necessarily mind being led around, and in certain areas it turns it off, like this area. And you go and explore, and oh, I go over here, and then I jump here, and okay. That's cool, that's fun, that's fine. But this guide, during some of these things, specifically the optional little, because it's open world, these little races you can do, it kind of sucks sometimes. And it doesn't make sense for you to have a guide, right? And then step 6 out of 10, the guide is nowhere to be found. Okay, and if you're following a race and you go the wrong way, then the guide is just nowhere. It's not leading you back to the path. It's just nowhere. I'm like, well, I guess I went the wrong way. Guide, thanks a lot. Then you go back to the beginning and it's like, oh, there was a tiny arrow on the ground that said move to the right. As it was like a fork in the road, and I didn't see the arrow on the ground. Like, and how would I know that that was the way to go? Because in these races, these little time trial races, you don't necessarily know where. It's not like get to the top of the building. It's like go over here, then two circle. You need the guide to kind of tell you where you're going, and otherwise you're just going in a vague direction, which I guess maybe I should follow. But it doesn't make any sense when you're telling me every step of the way, go this way, go this way, go this way, go this way, and then a step's missing, and I get lost, and you don't help me get back on the path. Why? Why didn't you? Like, there were several points in this where I'm like, well, where the hell do I go? You didn't tell me where to go. You were telling me where to go, and then I wander around, and you're not telling me how to get back to where I was. Then I'm wandering. I restart the race. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And the open world, I feel like works. It fits really well in with the game, but by the time I was done with this, which is only a couple hours to do everything in the beta, I'd gone through the same path so many times, and it was just like, all right, I guess I'm running here again. I'm running here again. I'm running here again. And the controls, while the controls are good, they do weird things sometimes where it's like, I want to jump over here, but because I was tilted sideways a certain way, I didn't jump. I wall ran. And it just doesn't, I don't know, it didn't feel precise, or it didn't feel right for me sometimes. 90% of the time, fine, great, perfect. It's the 10% of the time where it makes it stick in your craw, basically. Then we have the combat, which a lot of people are liking a lot, and I like it fine. But you have to punch guys a lot, like way too many times. If you actually want to fight them, you have to punch them way too many times. So you're sitting there just punching, and the idea you can also do is like a stronger attack and kick them into things. So like off a railing or into another dude, which does more damage, and they just fumble around. But you're trying, so like if you want to kick someone forward, you have to be moving the left stick forward. And then if you want to kick them to the left, you have to be moving it to the left. So this makes it look like you're like jumping around and like moving around people in weird circles just to kick them in certain directions, and it doesn't really make any sense. And when it works, it's really fun. But when it doesn't work, it just looks like you're being weird, and people are just punching you from all angles. You can't see them because that person's behind you. Or that like, okay, there's two guys, and I gotta angle myself around the perfect way, and then, oh, that guy's moving. Oh, and I want to kick him into the other guy. Oh no, he's kind of in the way. Let me move around over here. And it's like, why is this so difficult to just kick a dude? And sure, you can press X, like that's what I do here. You just press X instead of Y, and you move past them. Like you just do like a quick punch thing. But see right here, I get lost. I do a quick punch thing. You get lost because the trail is like active and you follow it, but then if you're looking for where to go and the trail is behind you or is too far ahead, you can't see it. That's the problem with it. You can do a quick punch where you basically don't lose momentum and you just keep going. That's what lose momentum means. But it works. It works. And that's fine. And certainly I wasn't getting shot to death, which is a big improvement over the first Mirror's Edge. But right there, I almost fell off the cliff. Oh, that's right. The right trigger is like kind of a juke move almost, because you can use it to pick up speed to move forward. But you can also use it to juke to the side and maybe juke into attacks, I think, maybe. But I didn't find the combat that interesting. I found running around much more interesting. And the entire time I was thinking, I like doing these things, but I don't necessarily like the open world. I like that there's stuff to find in the open world, like there's little chips to collect, and you open up computer boxes, and there's the speed runs and the time trials, and then there's custom made ones that from the community that exist as well. There's little weird visual glitch things that you can collect, little orbs. So there's stuff to do. There's stuff to do. But after a couple hours, I was like, that's enough stuff. I don't need to do more stuff. I really liked the linear. Also, the only way she opens doors is by just pushing her weight into the entire door. You can't just open a door. Every single goddamn door has to be crashed through. Ridiculous. Every door. Not to mention the secret base of theirs is the door isn't even shut. Everything's open to this secret base. She can't even open. She can only open a door slowly in cutscenes. It's just maybe the open world isn't as interesting to me for this. The linear, I'm being led around by the environment was much more interesting, specifically, and it does that in this. In that one mission that this started out with, it does that. It shows you, oh, I can climb up this, or I can go that way. Like, I could have gone a bunch of different ways through some of these puzzles. And that's fun, and that's interesting. And then you get to the open world, and it's fun and interesting the first time you're going through it. And then you have to run back through it again. Oh, let me go over here. I gotta see Birdman. That means walking up his building. I gotta go see this guy. It means walking up over here. And then I go back over. I gotta go see Birdman. And I gotta go over here. It's just monotonous at a certain point. It's not like there's a bunch of different ways you can go. It's, I have to go this way. Oh, sure, I could jump over this fence, or I could climb that and then go that way. But that's not really that different. It's the same visual, especially since they kind of funnel together. Birdman, to get to Birdman, there's this thing we have to climb this fence, and then you turn around, or not fence, it's like a weird cabinet server room. You climb it, and then turn around, jump on this thing, this pipe, and then jump into the air duct. That's what it was. I don't know what the fuck it is. That's fine. Like, okay, that's cool. That was a cool puzzle I solved. Great, good me. Go for me. And then I do it a couple more times because I keep having to go back to Birdman, and it repeats and repeats and repeats. So I don't know. I like it, but I'm not in like with it. So I don't know. It's not that amazing to me. It's fun, and I don't know. If this was a single player demo, I'd be more interested in it, I think. Have you seen the new Birdman the Rapper meme? No. What is that? Birdman from this? Or is this unrelated? I'll Google that. What is this? No, I don't know what this is. I'm uninterested. Day. Birdman orders fast food. This Birdman is an interesting character, but this whole thing, unrelated. Get out of here, Birdman. Maybe there's missions cut out of this, which is entirely possible and would make a lot of sense, because it starts to feel weird, particularly with your father figure. I guess he kind of is. And stuff like this is cool. I like the glowing red thing. It's fun to follow it. It feels like you're chasing someone. That's what I like about it. Can't just open a door. Nope, gotta punch it. Gotta punch the door. Can't just open the door. Here's one of those orbs you can collect. Here's a dude that I kick off the building. Like, that's fun. I watched him hit the pavement, you know. That interests me. Kicking dudes up. But like stuff like that doesn't happen that often. Most of the time it's just a bunch of dudes. And you gotta take them out. And that involves kicking and punching like a wild person. Which maybe I can find here. Who the hell knows? Oh, that's another thing. I was doing this mission, and there's these little... What are they? Basically, think of it as something in Assassin's Creed, like a tower that you have to take down or something. It's like that. There's a bunch of dudes surrounding this thing. You take them all out. You activate the thing. It blows up. Perfect. You cleared this area of aliens. They have stuff like that. But because I was doing a mission, I couldn't do that, right? You don't want to have two missions kind of going on at the same time. That makes sense, gameplay-wise. But they just turned that area of the map that had something on it into this weird glowy mess. This is actually the mission where you go and fight the guys. Here you go. Now here's me fighting. So you kick them into each other, and you kick them, punch them, and then this guy starts shooting me, yeah. And it turns the entire area like this, exactly this thing, but another one, into this glowy, shiny thing that I get lost in, and I can't even see where I'm going, just because I don't want the mission to activate. Like, you could have just despawned the guys and not had me be able to activate the thing, but instead it turns the entire area into a glow pit that I need to go through. There was no other way to get there. Also, and I mentioned this in this, who made this to where when you pull out its power supply, it blows up? The most video gamey thing. Let's just make the tower blow up. Why would it do that? Like, I don't pull out if I pulled out the power supply of a computer, it wouldn't blow up. It doesn't even make any sense. The power's gone now. Well, I took out its power core, it must blow up. What? Make it blow up for, like, I'm putting a bomb in it. That'd make more sense. Like, I twist the thing and I move a wire and then it blows itself up. That makes sense. Not pull it. What is she even doing with the power core? She just throw it away? Like, look at this power core. Like, what are you doing with it? It's fine. That's the beta. It's fine. I'm just glad I called it was delayed. I win this round, Mirza.